we are just about to hop into game 1 here. And yeah, it's going to be the Summer Storm. I believe it is the Eagles on red team and the Jack Monarchs on blue side.
Yes, they are, and you can already see the champions as well. We have Shen, Kane, Oriana, as well as a Lucian and Zac, with the Zac at the bot side being a support. On the flip, we have the Alawi, the Udyr, the Seraphine, the Misfortune, and the Braum, so pretty standard brawl composition here, with negative running that Udyr trying to be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I mean, this is again, very, very nice, I would say, for a quarterfinals best of 1. You all play your best champions and hope that you can go ahead and get that win.
There is going to be a lot of hoping, because when you have to throw everything into a game because it is a best of 1, there's going to be some curveballs that get thrown at you right away. Zac's support is not a common pick. You've seen it a couple times in pro play, so it does exist, but at the high school level, I have no idea the feasibility of it. And these two teams, they're, I would say, mid elo teams. They're solid players, they have their foundational skills, but their micro and macro could wildly fluctuate between players. So to see how they operate as a team is absolutely key.
Yeah, and I think that's something that will have to be identified pretty much the entire time. As Zac support, you said, hey, it's quite niche. If the team has played with it, though, it's going to be fine. Provides a very nice level 2, level 3 engage, as well as you can see the ball transfer going in from Buster. With that Oriana, it's a great engage tool. You're actually looking at Ravioli on the other side to disengage that fact, to be able to lock them away. And not even lock away, but Zac is going to be the only one that is going to be knocked up in that sense. In terms of Ravioli, that's the only CC you have to dissuade and engage. Other than that, it's all hands for the side of CVHS.
And in this top lane, you have Alawi, a bully champion in top lane against Shen. And Shen's percentage Q damage on his, I believe, key strike there, his Q ability, does shred the B-tier champions as well, so he will get value out of that. But I think long-term, the sustain on Alawi should win that top lane, and it's going to come down to really be soft game to make an impact across the map with that Stand United ultimate.
It really is that chance, but at the same time, there's been a lot of changes with the Shen builds and a lot of how Shen wants to be played. You can go very aggressive, but now on the bot side, we're getting a little bit of a change up here with a little bit of damage, and that's what we were talking about. If Zac can get in, it's great. However, you need that level 3 getting in there. You also need Alaka on the other side, that Lucian, to be able to really follow up if you want to draw the damage.
Yeah, being able to stack the damage, the follow-up, the CC is very, very important. Ravioli with the shield there, the door from Braum, is great at blocking that damage too from Lucian to keep free on this MF safe. And MF is running a lethal tempo, so extended trades could go very well for the side of the Eagles, where Jack Monarch, they have PT on the Lucian, they want quick trades. They want to get the CC, get the procs, and then back out. So, explosive bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. That's actually why you saw negative head there first. Of course, the pathing took their way, but Arachnid isn't actually so worried about that. You can see just the type of farming that's going on here. Arachnid is hoping to hit level 6 before you look for a gank. However, you aren't stacking up any of your orbs, so that is going to be a cause for concern later on for the Canes. So really, really keep eyes on that. At the current moment, it's all quiet on the Western front. No one wants to go too aggressive until now.
Ooh, he goes in, gets CC, but Zac is getting focused down here excellently by the side of the Eagles, and oh, he gets that little blob for the heal, and the passive is popped on the Zac. So that cell division is going to keep him alive, and now Lucian's going to try and get a kill on Ravioli, but Ravioli got that little bit of stack, and here is Kane to turn the fight around, and a great CC chain from Zac. Make sure that both bot lane members of the Eagles die. Now, there's a bit of action in mid, but it was just a hi, how are you slap in the face.
Yep, very, very nice play, and honestly, it was a little bit rough from Free and Ravioli. You went back in thinking you could win it out, but you did not have the ward, and so you were a little bit lost in there. Because of that, very, very nice gank from Arachnid, and now Arachnid does get Dragon on top of it. This early start to the Dragon, great start to the early game, means the Monarchs should have control over this bot side. Even though Free and Ravioli do have a good combination in terms of the concussive blows, Arachnid now has freedom to look at that bot side once again. Of course, the flashes didn't get expended, so that is going to be the safe way out, but I would not be surprised to see Arachnid continue to have a pinch on this bot lane team.
And I want to say Arachnid on this Kayn has the better gank angle spot because he's able to go through walls. He's able to go into that red side, blue jungle, and come in from behind them. It's a little bit tougher for -2 IQ to gank that. But now Alawi goes in with the ultimate there, and you can tell that's a huge chunk of damage onto Shen. And he has to walk away because there's no way you can stand and fight an Alawi.
No, you can't. And that's actually going to come into the mid to late game, and I would actually say that expands out to a much broader issue that we might actually see come out for the Monarchs, because the early game fight that just happened in the bot side is great, but you need to have it happen consistently. This team on Monarch's side does not actually scale that well into the late game unless you're looking at an Assassin Kayn. Other than that, the damage falls off. You take a look at a Lucian, you take a look at the Orianna. These are champions that do not output a massive amount of power later, so for the side of CVHS, as long as they control this early and mid game, don't get too far behind, you can actually rely on that Alawi and just be like, yeah, we'll stack up, we'll play smart, we won't get caught, and we'll be able to take these 30 minutes team fights, you know, wait for that timer to kick all the way in.
Agreed with you there. And I think Kayn, this Arachnid, he will be the carry. I think he needs to go red just because there's so many beefy targets on the side of the Eagles. You have Alawi, Udyr, Braum, and a red form Kayn can absolutely make bank off of these champions and just almost have permanent sustain, because none of these champions are particularly burst related either. Udyr does some sustain damage. Seraphine isn't a burst champion. She has a lot of spell rotations to poke you down and whittle you down, not necessarily 100 to 0. And I don't think Arachnid's going to stand still to eat an entire combo from Free. So I would like to see the, the Rast form, the red form of Kayn to come out this game.
If they do that, I mean, that is good and all, but it still puts you on a timer. I think either way, we're going to see a little bit of a dangerous spot. That's why Arachnid, like I said, looking at the bot side once again.
Ooh, there's the engage, great knockup. The exhaust is down on the Braum, surprisingly, a great flash out of there by MF. And they're trying to chase this one down, but Ravioli flashes out as well. Who knew Pasta could move so fast?
And I like that. Again, putting pressure on the spot side, trying to ensure that Zach and Alakazam are able to continue having presence in this bot side. You saw earlier, Free and Ravioli, even though they lost earlier, they're still up in CS. They're still up in the lane pressure, and that's what's drawing this fight on the bot side. So really keep eyes on that. The more that Arachnid ganks the spot side, the main question that we're going to have, are you getting kills? Is the side of Monarchs actually getting kills, or is all they're getting lane presence? If all they're getting is lane presence, that's not actually considered a win. They need those kills, and they need those towers.
The early pressure doesn't need to be there, and Zach goes in, gets the 2-man knockup, gets the follow-up CC, and let's bounce, and it's going to be a party here for the side of the Monarchs. As, you know, every now and then the bouncy castle's fun, but not for the side of the Eagles, who got bounced a little too hard there. It's a bounce straight back to the fountain.
It was very, very strong, and again, as we said, they're on a timer, and honestly, Miss Fortune and Braum, they take a while to get off the ground, especially since Negative has not had an impact anywhere, really.
Ooh, now they're going for Alawi here. The leap of faith comes through. The ult is down, and they definitely want to time this one as best they can. Good flash by Kigo to buy some space, but it's not going to be enough, though. But the sustain is there. Flash fall through from Arachnid. Make sure that kill gets secured. And Willie B on the Shen stays safe.
It was a good fight, but again, you can see Arachnid and Willie understanding, hey, we don't have to do too much, get out of the ult range, dance it appropriately, and you win. Yes, it was close, but it's understandable. Willie is currently down about 40 CS. That is identified and that is understood. The main thing, again, just don't die. Minimize how much you lose on that top side, and you will be okay. So, for Kego, I do expect them to also come out with that with that hole breaker, just be a menace. Or if you are looking to group up later, don't worry about the hole breaker, just farm. Keep a CS lead, and you'll be very happy.
Yeah, I mean, Kigo's up double the CS. At this point, that's absolutely massive. Kigo sitting at 85 CS is also on an excellent pace. Zach goes in, maybe a little bit too deep there as he gets stunned up and locked up. But he gets his own CC across. And there comes from the encore, the CC layered for both teams. But now Freeze free firing with that bullet time ultimate, and they pick up Willie B, which means that Kigo's alone on the top side. But now Alex is Yum is trying to run. He's trying to get the tower. He gets the dash. -2 is there and dies for his efforts. So it's a 1-for-1, and Zach now goes back in, gets the CC on 2 more, gets the left bounce on 3, and it's a party hitting the bot lane for the side of the Monarchs. They are going to reign supreme in this team fight. And Kizo drops to the Ignite, so it's a fiery good time, but Kigo there does get a lot top lane as well.
I mean, it is good that Kigo was able to push, but honestly, it was looking okay already from CVHS. They were pushing, they tried to go for a few extra kills, and honestly, you saw the start of that team fight. It was great. CVHS have the tools, but they overextended just a little bit too far. And again, I did say, once again, this bot side is under control of Arachnid and the rest of the team. That's a steal, though.
Ooh, -2 with the great steal. Those low death timers right now really unfortunately paying off. You don't really want to make use of a death timer, but in this case, it's going to work out for the side of the Eagles as they catch Zach in the pit. They also get his passive there as well, so now Zach needs to be a little bit more careful on the next team fight, which I would imagine is going to center around the Rift Herald. But currently, -2 IQ has the Rift Herald in his back pocket. So this could be a huge push for the Eagles coming up.
Yeah, this is actually quite large. In terms of kill and gold, it's feeling okay for the Monarchs, but with that extra fight, it went straight back in the favor of CVHS. However, look at the kill discrepancy now leaning in favor of Free, who has gotten back in control. Both Kraken Slayers already completed. And this is going to be the shakeup, right? This early game that was in favor of Monarchs has now slipped away from them. Keep eyes on if they do decide to group up. I expect CVHS to play slow, play smart, and not force any fights. Hopefully they also learn don't overextend, don't get greedy for those kills.
And both teams are doing a fabulous job of playing around bot lane right now. You do see that Alex is Yum. It's the Yum is going to throw me off there. Either way, the Lucian has 8 out of 9 kill participation. MF has 100% kill participation. So both teams know what the win con is, and it's get the bot lane ahead. The Alawi here, Kigo, he's just going to be a menace, a distraction in this top lane. And you can see that distraction's paying off so far. You're double the enemy's CS, you have a bunch of more gold, and your efforts are probably why your team is ahead by over 1,000 gold right now, just under 14 minutes in.
Yeah, and that's great and all. The main thing is we want to see it start actually exemplifying. You were talking about Arachnid getting drawn to the top side. We do want to see even more so of that allow. We want to see Kigo start being a huge pain. Free and Ravioli are trying to lock down that bot side, or if the top side falls, expect a lane swap. And then from there, start getting the rest of the team activated, right? For this side of CVHS, they're looking to try not get ganked like this.
And there it is. The left bounce starts the party, and Arachnid comes in, looking for a kill there. Doesn't quite get it. Ravioli flashes out and should be okay as he's weaving his way in between the minions, getting a little bit of help from the creep block, making sure that his pursuers can't keep up. But first tower is probably going to go down here. Kigo, and now Willie B, he's in a world of hurt as that test of spirit comes through, and that just chunks a tank because it does percentage health. And you can see Shen is barely at half an item when Alawi is at 1.5 items.
And this is actually the big draw of, you were talking about it earlier, staying towards that top side. And it's very, very helpful. I do expect Kigo to actually lead this top side unless the teams just choose not to swap out, which would also be understandable. If you can keep the status quo, it leans in favor of CVHS. The main thing, again, is Alakazam. He is starting to get a little bit stronger. He is starting to be a little bit more of a menace. 6-1 and 3 should be able to spend, I want to say over 1,000 gold is what they're currently sitting on. I do hope to see that come out here. Of course, the teams do not want to change up just yet. They have Dragon coming up at a minute 30, which is why we're seeing Kigo still head to the top side, has TP this time around, and should be very excited for this upcoming Drake. Honestly, I expect a 5v5 to come about and to see everyone just collide in this lane. We actually see Buster choosing to join in.
Yeah, Buster making that first rotation bot right now as Zach and Lucian have, for the large part, rotated mid. We do see Zach hovering the Orianna right now, looking for a potential engage, because that is a great wombo combo there as well. And now, Alawi, Kigo, I would like to see go for the Rift Herald as Dragon spawns. Have the Eagles pressure both sides of the map, because nobody can contest Alawi at this stage. There's not a single champion on the side of the Monarchs who definitively stand a chance. Arachnid may survive long enough to do something, but at the end of the day, how much do you trade across the map because of the sunk resources top?
The answer is a lot. Or a little, depending on how you look at it. So many different ways to see it, but as we were saying, 20 seconds on this Dragon, and you can already see the prop up. CVHS sitting on one, same with Monarchs. They want to get a stand up, and with the Mountain Dragon, it would benefit CVHS so much. This team would be unkillable if they got the soul as well.
Okay.
Oh, is this actually Chemtech? Ooh. I do apologize. I think it's Chemtech.
Okay, there's TP coming in from behind from Kigo, so therefore the Eagles will have first move here. I need the Stand United to come in through. Zach is in danger. He's dropped dead, and the rest of the Monarchs never got into the fight there. The Stand United didn't come through, and now all their hopes rest on Arachnid for a steal attempt. But with that test of strength coming from Outalawi, he nearly gets killed by that single spell alone. And so the Eagles, they claim their second Dragon of the game. And it is a Chemtech Soul, so that extra durability on a durable team is going to feel pretty bad.
Yeah, this is
yeah,
it's feeling good. And again, reduced, I believe it is tenacity or improved tenacity and all that. With the Chemtech Dragon, it does feel really good. The main thing as well is the coverage it gives in terms of the extra plants and all. It's gonna feel great. It's gonna feel amazing. Of course, this fight feels like a little bit of desperation.
Ooh. Great shockwave though out of the Orianna though, as picks up 3, and now Zach comes in over top there. Arachnid doesn't get out there, dies to an ignite, but the MF gets picked up. The Alawi's trying to do some work here, but is also burning around, so that's sustain. This doesn't come through right now. Zach is CC'd up, and that allows the Alawi to sustain up. That television passive will keep Zach alive a few moments longer, but at the end of the day, it's the Eagles taking that fight pretty cleanly, dare I say. It was what? 3 kills for what?
Yeah, it was actually 2 on the bot side and then 1 on the solo top side. Negative had his moment with Willie, and that was a chance and a half. But this is being a ridiculously open game. We did say that CVHS, if they weather the storm in the early game, it'd be fine, and they are proving it here. That TP from Mr. Kezu in from mid was so important. Getting a shield on Kigo just as they were about to fall. That's why Zach was so scared about all this going in. Alakazam as well as Buster, they tried to follow up, but they just couldn't. It was the TP from Mr. Kezu. And again, the TPs all the way around are going to cause some problems unless Monarchs are able to utilize Alakazam and start being a menace. You need to let that Lucian roam out. You need to get that Lucian enabled to fight in chosen select moments, or else the Eagles will continue to bottle up. They'll continue to just group up, and you will not have a way through them.
Yeah, it's tough right now, because I think the Eagles have reached a point where they almost just flat out win the game right now. Because if Alawi groups with a team, there's no way you can fight into them. And Alawi's too strong in the side lanes right now. She has the most CS in the game. She's an absolute monster. And now they're trying to maybe commit something on to Kigo here with a 3-person. But she gets over the wall with the blast cone. And maybe needs to run away, but has the leap of faith. The test of strength is down. There it is. The leap of faith, the sustain is coming through. It's enough. Ravioli's there for the backup, but still the Alawi goes down. Now Ravioli needs to get out of there, but it's over to Free, trying to turn this one, doesn't quite get anything. And Arachnid on this Kane, he's making a bit of a difference here when trying to take these guys down. Now he gets the stun, and Free has to flash out of there, but Zach comes in now, and this should be cleanup duty for the Monarchs, but those are a lot of low health bars. And the Stain United gets stopped. -2 IQ is doing a whole lot of damage here, more than I thought he would do, and Ravioli's still in the middle of this, trying to beef up Negative just a little bit more. Arachnid gets a kill on the Brawl, and now it's going to be Buster. He's all out of luster there as he gets back to the gray screen.
Such an elongated fight, and the fact that only a few members were actually going to fall there, in the entire fight it was only 3. The fact that it was still a win for CVHS, even though, honestly, they overextended. They got a little bit too far, walked a little bit too far forward, and that's why Free got taunted. At this point, it's their gold lead that they're just slinging around. They're happy to take these trades, and it's working for them, right? We see Monarchs dancing in and out, and at this current moment, Monarchs need to learn how to cut and run. They need to learn how to stop going in, and when they get the kill, they need to just leave. They need to take their kills and get away as quickly as possible, because if they continue looking for those extended trades, they will not win. Their comp is not made for that. At least not against CVHS, as Dragon in 45 seconds will be coming up. It'll be the 4th Dragon of the game, and I do expect CVHS to be looking to prep it early.
And you talk about getting hit by a wallet, right? Well, the average kill, or, you know, because I'm Canadian, a toonie is roughly 7 grams, right? So if you equate a toonie to the same weight as a piece of gold in League of Legends, that's, 7 grams, right? 300 gold per kill, that's getting hit by like 2.1 kilograms, which is 5 pounds. You multiply that by 10, that's 50 pounds hitting you in the face with the gold lead alone. And you can tell Zach, he's not durable enough to get hit by that amount of gold, and he just gets melted there. So gold, it does hurt to get hit by, especially when you have this much lead. Negative is able to tank multiple members like it's nothing, and you see the shields coming out from Kazu really paying off there as well. This Dragon should go over favorite Eagles. Arachnid needs to go for the steal here. He's on the flank. He's maintaining vision. He's in and out of the pit, and they're stopping damage just in time, but he gets the steal. Or Oriana does. The Encore doesn't quite stop it from happening. They do get the kill onto Arachnid, but the Dragons get tied up at 2 apiece. And so what I thought was potentially an early soul condition, with the Monarchs taking it at 5 minutes for the first Dragon, we're still very, very far from soul, but we're not very far from Baron right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is even though the Dragon was taken, you still risk your life for it, and because of that, you will lose Baron unless Zach is able to pull off a crazy steal, but I don't think you're going to outsmite 1200 here with a simple jump in. This is the trade-off that you do give in this instance. Arachnid just on the map, but no time really to be able to take it. That's going to be a look, not going to happen.
Ooh. It's a good ultimate from Zach there, but there's just no follow-up. And you can tell that Buster isn't even close to having their ultimate as well, so you couldn't even get a solid wombo combo there. So I think that's just poor decision-making on the Monarchs, as they may be feeling desperate, felt like they had to go for something there when the right play was to let it go.
Yeah, again, the fact that they only lost 2 there, not the worst thing in the world. The problem here is, again, how far will the Eagles get to push off? You can see already they're opening up this mid lane, making sure that they're in an appropriate position. I would expect them to start cleaning up the rest of the lanes, or if they wish to, they could really just 5-man push mid. And I honestly don't think the Monarchs can do anything, but it is their decision on how they want to close things out. I just hope they don't take too long. This Baron can quite honestly break open the game as far as they wish. I would hope they are able to take an inhibitor, if not, at least the rest of the outers.
I'm oohing and ahhing over here. I'm making all sorts of wild hand gestures because I'm not quite sure how Eagles want to end this game. Like you said, so far everything they've done has felt reactive to what the Monarchs have tried to establish. Now they're firmly in the driver's seats and they need to be proactive. And that's a tough transition to make in the mid game when you're winning off of the reactive plays. To suddenly take that risk to be proactive could be a hurdle that maybe gives the Monarchs some room to farm back up, because Baron is what, halfway over, and I don't think the Eagles have gotten, what, a single tower? Maybe one tower, the mid T2 off of it, but I think that's it.
They've only got one. They have a minute left, and honestly, this stall, it feels kind of bad for them. Monarchs, though, are very happy about this. Right now, they're still looking to just farm up. They've identified that, hey, we can't take team fights. Let's get a little bit more damage in there. Buster is going for that burst build, is also going for that Grievous Wounds, which I think is appropriate right now. You don't really have a choice. Yes, it's a little bit of a gold sync, but you have to. But this is going to be a pick. Hopefully getting some extra damage down on Kigo, who is looking to just go ham.
Ooh, but Kigo's got that leap of faith going, and they are fighting within that ultimate right now. And you can tell that Arachnid, he's just getting chewed out by it, and it's not quite a 1-for-1 there, as they do get the pick on Kigo there, but that means there's 3 members of the Eagles pushing top, and they're looking for a T2, but Zach goes in, doesn't get engaged. He did the encore, misses as well, but Zach flashes out of the whole time there. Ravioli's on the tower, it doesn't quite matter. That tower drops. Now the shockwave comes through, trying to find one there by Buster, but Buster, he just doesn't quite muster up yet. And so the Eagles, they get the T2 tower without losing anyone, at least in that fight.
Yeah,
Okay, he gets out there.
Yeah, this is going to happen over and over again, and at this point, the clock has run out. That timeline, the timer for Monarchs has been ringing for the last about 3 minutes. And honestly, at this point, you are also looking at Willie. Willie needs to start joining the team, has that heart steal ready to go, has that ability to start stacking up, but 167 stacks at 26.5 minutes means that you're not fighting as much as you would probably like to. And I do expect that ult to be very, very important as well. That Stand United needs to be used on an appropriate member. Keep eyes on Arachnid. Keep eyes on that Kane to be a massive player in this upcoming Dragon. You are hoping that you don't have to go for a steal. But at this point, unless you find the rest of the Eagles in open ground and have vision on them, it's going to be a steal attempt.
I think the Monarchs, they need to be proactive here. They need to go in as soon as they can before the Eagles actually get set up. But you can tell that one ward by Ravioli stopped any pushing by Monarchs. And now Arachnid, he's playing a dangerous game with that wall. If he gets popped out to the wrong side, that could be his doom. But now they're playing footsie with the Dragon, and neither side wanted to commit just yet, pulling it out of the pit to make any steal attempt hard. But Arachnid, he smites the Scuttle, I believe. And so this should be a free Dragon for Eagles if they can burn it out quickly enough. Zach goes in, gets the elastic stretch on 2. The encore is massive, hitting 5. The leap of faith is huge the whole time. Oh my god, I just watched the massacre.
Just a simple wombo combo. That's all you need, and we said it at the beginning, and that was the deal sealer. Monarchs, not a single chance to do anything. Their composition is not built to deal with head-on collisions like that. It's a complete team wipe, and at this point, I don't know what Negative is doing on the bot side, but it should just be a full power down in the mid lane, and you win. There is not a single worry in my mind that they honestly could have done quite a bit more damage. But a fantastic team fight. I mean, that was as perfect can be.
Like, I'm pretty sure that was a 10-man encore at a Kenzie there. It was close. But Zach's going to go in here trying to stall this game out. Huge shockwave lands on forward. The CC combo is there. The wombo is happening. Members are burning down, but it's a chaotic fight for both sides as players are dropping. The raise screen reaps the players, reaps the names. And now Kigo is the last one standing in front of the Nexus. Flashes over, trying to end the game. But Willie, he is there, and Arachnid secures that kill. So the Monarchs, they stay in the game for just a little bit longer. And this game should have been over. And I think you called it. What was -2 doing in that bot lane pushing the T2? If he was with the team, I think it's GG, let's go next. But instead, the jacked Monarchs have another shot at this.
I mean, that shot is a shot in the dark, and of course with the blast gun over there, it's still very dangerous in its own right, but this Baron is the big caller. Take a look at how long it's taken to go down, though. So this is still giving time for CVHS to go in. TP coming in as well from the side of Monarchs, so they're going to try and run Negative out of the zone. Ah, that's perfect. Can they finish it off, though?
Yes, they definitely can't finish this off. They have plenty of time. And there goes the Baron. And before the Nexus fight, right? the Eagles were up over 12,000 gold. That lead has shrunk to about 8,500 right now. So that's a 3,500 gold swing in favor of the Monarchs, which in the grand scheme of things may not mean much, but it means immediate buying power. They can maybe finish off an item that they need to in order to hit that next power spike, which means that the next dragon is even more of a 50-50 coin flip. Because it seems like the only way this game ends is with a dragon soul.
At this point, it's also the fact that the death timers are going to be a little bit longer as well. You take a look, we're now crossing that 30-minute mark. Death timers are going to be closer to about 30 to 35 seconds. So fully expect these teams to start playing a little bit more straightforward. And I really do hope CVHS have understood that they don't have to worry about anything else. They are very, very strong. They're still in control. Yes, the Baron is up, but it's a stall Baron. It's not one that you really have to be worried about. Expect negative, if they're going to try and pull something off, to try and flank once again. Maybe look at that bottom inhibitor. If not, group up with the rest of the team, right? Just barrel all down mid. It's an open inhibitor. You have no worries. Be the absolute wrecking ball that at least I know your team is.
It's an open nexus. It's not just an open inhibitor. I'm pretty sure if they really wanted to, they could 5-man rush the nexus, and the time to kill on the side of the Monarchs is just too slow. They will have enough damage to eventually get through the Eagles, but before Nexus drops, no way. And right now, Arachnid goes in 1v3, TP coming in from Kygo. Now suddenly, it's going to be a turnaround? What? Arachnid with a huge shield from Sin United. Now will it be tank and 4 members there? And so overall, that's a good pick coming out of the Monarchs to stall out this game just a little bit longer. And I thought that was a greedy play going in there 1v3, but hey, it works out.
Yeah, that was a team fight that was, again, gifted over. These are the fights that, CVHS are just continuing to take that are just a little bit of a problem. They don't have the manpower, and yes, the damage is there, but it's sustained. Losing Mr. Kazu, not having an opportunity to get that huge encore off. The fact that Monarchs didn't go all the way in, I think, is because Free still held the bullet time, right? It's still very much up. It's still very powerful, and that's what's scaring them from fully committing to any of these fights.
Yep. Cool. Okay, so Dragon, 15 seconds. Kazu is up and with TP just in case they have to teleport to the fight. But right now, it's priority for the Monarchs. The caveat is that they have low health members without an easy way to sustain. So it does mean that I would say fighting power goes over to the side of the Eagles. And you can tell the Eagles are forcing their way into the river right now, led by Negative. And it looks like maybe a little bit that the Monarchs are split up, but it's going to be Lucian joining the team, looping around the Dragon Pit. And this is a dance neither team has to do, but Arachnid goes in there. Kezu's going to get a huge encore here across 3 members of the Monarchs here. Monarchs are going to get absolutely clapped by the tentacles. This is some calamari that does not go down easy. It's the type that fights you all the way back. Now Lucian with the GA, he's going to run for his life, but you can't outrun a new gear. I'm sorry. It's like what is it? It's like a cinch. Don't chase a cinch. You can't run from new gear. And so it's going to be an ace for the side of the Eagles. And, well, they take the Dragon. They should take the game here as well.
I mean, I would hope so. If they can't win with this, then I don't know what else they can win with. They have all the freedom in the world. There are no towers in their way, and I think it's well deserved. The composition held strong through the test of time.
I mean, they could wait for the Elder, but I would hope not. They learned their lesson last time about delaying the game, and so right now, at 34 minutes, they will kill the Nexus, and they will move on in this bracket to the semifinals.
Yes, they will. It was very, very appropriate. And again, it was a team comp, right? We saw some early starts there from the bot side. It was looking okay from Alakazam, but it just wasn't enough, right? We saw what happened, and we did say it. The Kayn needed to have a bit more impact in the early stage, and the entire team did, right? You look down the line, it was a team of early to mid-game champions. and they let things get out of control. Even though CVHS stepped up a little bit too far each time, which I do think they need to clean up, they played the team fights well. Mid to late game, they knew what their comp had to do. They just had to play smart, peel away, allow the Misfortune and the Seraphine to do their jobs, and they knew they could win. So I think no matter what, they were never really in a pinch, even though the bot lane looked like it was a little bit rough. So hats off to them for taking this game.
Yeah, the Monarchs, they did make it a close game. They did try and punch as hard as they can against the Eagles, but at the end of the day, Eagles got wings and they flew higher. And I agree with all the points you said. The Eagles never really were under pressure. They had a scaling comp. They could take their time, and they kept the early game close enough that any lead the Monarchs got really didn't pay off. Though I do say to criticize the Eagles just a little bit, because we have to give some constructive feedback, is that you got to end the game when you can. You got to be clear, concise, focused. All 5 middle, don't split push when you can end.
Yeah, that was one of the things. But again, that is what an Udyr wants to do, so I don't doubt it. Just I'm not sure if they're gonna get such a safety net next time when they go in. So I'm very interested to see how they do in the semifinals, and hopefully we get to see them next.
Yeah, so I think we have another match here in the quarterfinal brackets, and I'm not quite sure when that game is going to happen. So I'm going to say we're going to throw it to a quick break, hopefully a quick break, and when we come back, we will have the next quarterfinal matchups here, and then after that, potentially semifinals. So make sure you stay tuned and grab a couple refreshments.